is forecasting 6 more weeks of winter. At least we get to start off the first week of February with warmer temperatures. We're going to see those temperatures bump up into the mid-50s tomorrow afternoon. Rain chances working in, so make sure to have that rain jacket ready during the afternoon and evening. For the latest, I'm meteorologist Hannah Sky with the Local 3 Storm Alert Team.
Don't miss the Paul Feinbaum Show, weekday afternoons from 2 until 5 on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Always topical, always entertaining. Paul Feinbaum on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, presented by Hardees. You're listening to Paul Feinbaum on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. The Drive is coming up. The ESPN Cleveland 101.3 lineup is supplied by Wholesale Supply Group. WholesaleSupply.us.
It's Monday, so it's burger and beer night at Aubrey's for just $12. Aubrey's, Cleveland.
Welcome to Mountain View Nissan Country, where automotive excellence is our top priority. At Mountain View Nissan, we take pride in offering you the finest selection of vehicles.
Garden Plaza, Cleveland's premier senior living community, is hiring servers for all shifts. Enjoy full-time morning and lunch shifts or part-time from 3 till 7:30 p.m. Perfect for students. Current servers tired of late nights? Their latest shift ends by 7:30 p.m. Call Garden Plaza 479-4447 or apply at gardenplaza@cleveland.com. Join their team today.
Hey, Andy Morris here. Join me along with my co-host on The Drive, presented by Hardees, weekdays at 5 p.m. on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Cleveland and Bradley County's local sports show, weekdays at 5 on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
From the Kia of Cleveland Studios, this is ESPN Cleveland 101.3, WCLE HD2 Cleveland, W267BI Cleveland, ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The top of the hour is presented by Best Buy Metals, making the top of your house the best it can be. Visit bestbuymetalroofing.com.
It's time for The Drive on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, presented by Hardees. We will bring you nonstop sports news from the national and local scene and everything in between. So buckle up and join in on the conversation. It's The Drive.
Don't take no style. Got a thirst for killing. Think about it.
Welcome back to The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland. Again, The Drive presented by Hardees right here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. I'm Andy Morris along with Jim Gum and Jacob Mason. Got the trifecta in the studio today. All three of us excited to be here, and it's going to be a little sporadic throughout the rest of the week. But I am excited. You know why I'm excited, Jim?
Because it's Super Bowl week.
Okay, sure.
You asked. So
I don't really care about the Patriots or the Seahawks, but I am excited about the Super Bowl. It's the premier event in professional football. So, yes, you could say I'm excited about that. But me and Jacob are excited because we got out of school today, and guess what? Getting out of school again tomorrow. Hey, city school folks, E in the building with us. E's got to go to school tomorrow.
Yeah, he's over here drowning in his sorrows that he's got not just school, but a couple college classes at Lee.
He's a smart kid, dual enrollment kid, going over to Lee University, who, as we said, cancels for nothing.
Ever.
There could be 5 feet of snow on the ground and a one of those fire tornadoes on the way, and they're going to class at Lee University.
I had to get my bobsled out one year to get to class at Lee. Like, I literally was going down on ice trying to get into class. It was so, excuse me, so packed in snow and ice. But, yeah, I'm excited. No school tomorrow. And really, if you look at those back roads, like if you're looking at Upper River Road, if you're looking out there towards, like, Chatta Valley, like where it gets zero sun, like I think about Old Bacon Road. If you've ever been down, it's a beautiful ride. I love riding in it in the Jeep.
Shade, trees all over.
There's not an inch of sunlight that gets through. So when it snows, it's one of my favorite places to go tracking down in the Jeep. But it's going to stay snowy for a while. So, good call. It's going to rain. Let that stuff kind of wash out, and hopefully we'll be back on.
Speaking of ice, you know they used to call Jim Gum the Iceman back when he had that bleach blonde flat top, just like off Top Gun.
Right. By the way, did y'all see some of the stuff that happened in North Carolina? There was a couple places in North Carolina, 18 inches of snow, man. I mean, and crazy. they don't have the equipment to remove it, you know, like those northern cities do. But gosh, could you imagine if we had 18 inches? We wouldn't come on air till March.
Listen, I'm remembering back to '93, the blizzard, and I know last week everyone was anticipating something like that coming our way, and everyone got all excited. The bread and milk disappeared off the shelves at the grocery stores, which I need to look up some recipes for bread, milk, and eggs. Like, I don't know what we're doing.
French
toast. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But no, I do think, the groundhog did see a shadow, so we're due for 6 more weeks of winter.
Yep.
That happened.
It's funny, the calendar agrees with him.
Yeah, so I do think we're going to get at least one more legitimate snow event. And I hope we do, because we don't get to experience a whole lot of that around here. And my daughters and I, we had some fun playing out in the powdery snow, but you can't really do a lot of snowballs or build snowmen with it. So anyway, that's kind of how the weekend went for us. Trying to enjoy this weather, enjoying these days off from school, unless your name's E, right?
But it was pretty out there. I think it looks so good when it's all white out there. At nighttime, you can see so much better because the reflection of the white snow. It's I love it though. I do.
That's what I loved about. Like when you're talking about was it the AFC Championship game or the second half? It just
in Denver. Yeah.
So I love a good football game in the snow. And we talked about this last week. There's some people saying, oh, you shouldn't have that type of home field advantage in the college football playoff. Yes, you should. If you were in Ohio or you're in Michigan or you're in northern Indiana and you host a home playoff game, that's part of the advantage. If you're in Miami and you've got the heat and the humidity, that's part of the advantage. That's your element.
Football is an outdoor sport for most of the way. I mean, listen, we understand there are some domes and some
NFL's transitioning
big time in the NFL. But football is an outdoor sport, whether it's 65 degrees and a slight breeze, if it's, like hurricane force winds or if snow and ice, if it's 1 degree or 101 degrees, you play the game. The only time you don't play is if there's lightning. That's it. Other than that, you play the football.
They also used to call Jim Gum Lightning back in the day. He was so fast. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Ice and lightning, right? Is that it?
Well, hey, we're talking about the weekend and the weather, but we also had a huge weekend in sports. Walker Valley, Cleveland on Friday night. Big turnout there in the gym. But then Cleveland wrestling, Bradley had a good showing up at State as well. And then tomorrow night, Walker Valley and Bradley play, I believe, at Walker Valley. And then this coming Friday, we are going to be live in Raider Arena for the Bradley Cleveland game. So lots of big sports going on around this area, a lot to cover. Been really neat. Something else that dropped, I don't know if you guys heard this, Baylor High School is going to be hosting the number 1 seed Spain for their practices during the World Cup.
How about that? I did not hear that.
And Chattanooga will be hosting their team. I believe, if I had to guess what hotel they're staying in, I didn't read into this. I should have. I believe it's going to be the Edwin, just because that's the nicest.
That's a nice place.
It's the nicest hotel that they have to offer. But I know there's a guy that owns a lot of hotels up there, Mr. Patel, that owns a lot of expensive motels in the area, and he was a part of that conference. And so I would guess it would be the Edwin. That's just me. But cool for Baylor High School, cool for the city of Chattanooga. Number 1 Spain, we are going to be the host city for them as they come here for the World Cup.
I'm assuming that Baylor has a natural grass soccer field, because the World Cup is not allowed. You're not allowed to have artificial turf in the World Cup. So I'm assuming they want to practice on natural turf.
Yeah.
And I'm just guessing that they do that, have that at Baylor.
I believe so.
Mm-hmm. So that's pretty cool that you say that. I know that, we're talking about wrestling again, Cleveland wrestling, just going clean sweep up there in Franklin with the boys and girls both winning the state duels this past Saturday. But whenever the Southern Scuffle takes place in Chattanooga, which is hosted by University Tennessee Chattanooga, there are teams coming in like Penn State and Oklahoma State and Cornell, and all of the local high schools host a team. And Penn State, I know, used Notre Dame High School's wrestling facility, and so you're talking about the best team in the country. This is a little bit different from the best team in the world, but when it comes to collegiate wrestling, like Penn State is what Alabama has been. And seeing all those coaches and kids get to interact with those athletes and those coaches, it's really a special thing to be able to be a host site for events like that.
Yeah, so really exciting for Chattanooga. obviously the economy as well. A lot of Spain fans are going to travel. The U.S. is obviously a place that a lot of people want to come visit. The World Cup is going to allow that really across our entire country, which is going to be really exciting. I know Atlanta's a host site, but the fact that Chattanooga was selected just shows what our surrounding cities have to offer and the great things that they have to offer that Spain, selected us as their hometown. And so I'm excited. If you're in the Chattanooga area listening to us, if you get to interact with some fans or even potentially some players, you might see them just roaming around having dinner with their families. Give them a warm Chattanooga welcome.
Yeah, so I want to bounce back to high school basketball for just a second. And obviously, last Friday night, we were live at Walker Valley High School for Game 2 of 3 of our high school basketball on the road, the drive on the road, that is, and got to see some good basketball being played there. Being able to be in-house and interact with people for me is a lot of fun. I know Jim has a fan club. When we go on the road, people are lined up to get his autograph, and then everyone else is yelling at Jacob to put his shirt back on. But we really do. We enjoy going out on the road, and again, getting to do that again this Friday for our third and possibly final drive on the road high school basketball series game over at Raider Arena, Cleveland High School, as that's going to be a big game between Cleveland and Bradley. We got to see that first one over at Bradley, and the girls game did not disappoint. Boys game did not disappoint. Expect to see that again. But tomorrow night, before we get to Friday to that big game, tomorrow night, Bradley Central at Walker Valley.
Oh, yeah. Listen, anytime you get the local schools playing each other, sign me up for that, because you just know that there's so much interaction between. They all know each other. They all played sports with and against each other growing up, so it just adds to the flavor of that game. So yeah, excited about that.
Yeah, to give you a little sneak peek, I've written 3 articles on 3 players that will be playing in tomorrow night's game.
Jacob's a writer now, by the way.
He
does a good job.
All of a sudden, man. No, I've been. It's something new and something that I really enjoy doing.
Honestly, talk about that for a second, because obviously, we communicated over the weekend. I was kind of getting you some information, but you did a great job with your articles. We were able to get them out on the ESPN Cleveland 1013 Facebook page. Talk about that for just a second, because excellent coverage from you this weekend, Jacob.
Yeah, so, Friday night, earlier that week, I kind of told myself I'm going to jump into this. It's something I've been talking to Jim about, like wanting to jump into it. And I'll be honest with you, like radio, PA, all that stuff has always been really intimidating for me because I'm very dyslexic, like very dyslexic. So like when I have to read live reads or when I have to do live reads for the radio or PA, like sometimes I stumble.
And then he's got me over here just giving him just complete heck over it too. Such a jerk. Sorry, man.
No, you're fine. And so, like the writing space has always been something that I've kind of been afraid of because I'm afraid I'm going to mess up or I'm afraid I'm going to stumble. But I love our community and I love the athletes that are in it. And I think they deserve a spotlight, and our Facebook page is a great place that you can share about them. And so I wrote my first 2 articles, Cleveland girls beating Walker Valley, and then the Walker Valley boys beating Cleveland. But then I, was sitting at home on Saturday, snowed in like everybody else, and I stared at my computer screen and talked to you and was watching live updates for wrestling and was able to get you guys those box scores and those kind of things. And then, to give you a little sneak peek, Kamora Fields, a huge player here in this town. I got to talk to Coach Reuter on the phone yesterday. Did a little interview with him. Hopefully that's going to get posted tonight. She is a nominee for the McDonald's All-American game, and only 300 people have been selected for that. They're going to narrow it down to 24. But just the fact that she's in that,
she's I'm going to go ahead and say this. She's got to be on that team. She is one of the best players in the country. Yeah. She's got to be on that team.
And in the article that we're going to post, like, you're going to see some pretty outrageous numbers that, in my opinion, really justify that. And then throwing it over to Walker Valley, literally 30 minutes before I came on the show with you guys, I talked to Coach Campbell and talked to him about Turner Clayton and Zach Davis. 2 guys that absolutely should be in consideration from our area for Mr. Tennessee basketball. And so got to do a little conversation with him and actually have those articles pulled up right here that I was working on before the show started. And so just really grateful for the opportunity, one, to spread light, but two, to kind of overcome a fear that I've always had. You know, I've always let that kind of control me, and my God's bigger than that, and I'm not going to let that fear.
Love it, man.
Handle me anymore.
As somebody that I've published things in my past and everything, it's very, very humbling when you get feedback from someone that's read like a book or an article that you've posted or you've written, and they say good things about it. So, and the good thing about a written publication or whatever, it's there forever, man. It's there for a long, long time. I still have old articles when I used to play sports. Jim Gum had a big game here or there. I still got some of those, not all of them, but I still got some of those things packed away back in the day. So that's cool stuff, man. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And so, I will be busy during baseball season, but I'm going to keep trying to keep my ear to the ground and noteworthy stuff. Like, we've got a lot of great baseball players in this area. We've got a team like Lee University that normally makes deep runs. We've got a lot in this town to celebrate, and so I'm going to try to do my best to write some things a few times a week and put them out there, and would love your support by reading them and sharing them.
Which I do. I love that, Jacob, because any of our kids, any of our athletes that are listening, be it athletically, be it academically, or something you're passionate about, do not let your fear overtake you. Try to overcome those obstacles. Work past it. That's one thing that, as I was getting into broadcasting, and I've told you this, Jacob, that anytime I was asked to do something, I told myself I'm never going to say no. I'm going to say yes every single time to get the experience. And it's worked out. Now the three of us are sitting here doing a daily show together that's a lot of fun. So, again, I hope that your story can be inspirational to a lot of these athletes that I know are listening to our show.
I'm going to critique myself a little bit. The girls' pictures that I posted, basketball-wise, were not very good. First time ever taking pictures at a live sporting event. First time really editing those as well. I thought there's one of Zach Davis that's awesome that I just was lucky to catch it.
Looks like he's about 12 feet into the air. It looks AI almost. That's how high he can jump.
It really did. But, hopefully I continue to get better, and it's something that you guys get to enjoy here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
And we're talking about making a push for these local athletes, Kamora Field, Zach Davis, Turner Clayton for Mr. Basketball, and, of course, Kamora with Miss Basketball, State of Tennessee. You mentioned baseball season's coming up. We'll make a push for you, man. All we need you to do is hit about 25 dingers, hit about 400, flash the leather around the infield a little bit, and we'll make a push for you too, all right, man? Sound good? Jacob stole E's mic today, so E's just shaking his head and laughing. Real quick before we go to break, we've got some breaking news out of Knoxville. Tennessee quarterback Joey Aguilar has filed a lawsuit against the NCAA in Knox County, and this is per Adam Sparks, friend of ours up at the Knoxville News Sentinel. Aguilar is seeking to extend his eligibility and play for the Vols in 2026. The Antioch, California native threw for 3,565 yards, 24 touchdowns, and only 10 interceptions in 2025. Aguilar transferred to Tennessee after 2 seasons at Appalachian State and a short offseason stint at UCLA, obviously, before all the Nico stuff went down. So, personally, not being a Tennessee fan, but a guy that follows Tennessee football closely, I hope he gets it. I hope he's eligible. We're going to talk a little bit more about that when we come back right here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
Yep. The Drive will be back after a quick time.
Jerry Palm.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
For a limited time, get Hardee's Big Cheeseburger with 100% American Angus beef for just $4.99. That's a deal no one can beat. Actually, we can beat it. Because you can also get Hardee's hand-breaded chicken sandwich for $4.99. The Pick a Sandwich deal. Only $4.99. Only for a limited time. Only at Hardee's. Participating restaurants only. Tax not included.
Did you twist an ankle? Hurt your shoulder? Or maybe that weekend project left you with more than sore muscles? Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is here to help. Our urgent ortho walk-in clinic in Cleveland is open Monday through Saturday, treating sprains, strains, fractures, and more. No appointment needed. There's no need to drive to Chattanooga for expert orthopedic care. Call, schedule online, or walk in today and get back to moving pain-free. Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. The Center for expert care right when you need it.
Listen to the Alon Exchange, hosted by financial professionals Jay and Brittany Hagee, owners of Alon Planning Partners. Each week, they discuss all things financial and answer your questions about investing, preparing for retirement, paying down debt, and more. The Alon Exchange, Saturdays at 7 a.m. on ESPN Cleveland 1013. ESPN Cleveland 1013 is powered by Duracell.
Welcome to Mountain View Nissan Country, where automotive excellence is our top priority. At Mountain View Nissan, we take pride in offering you the finest selection of vehicles.
No more varicose or spider veins. No more tired, achy, restless legs. No more restless nights. Start your journey to a better you with help from Milligan Vein. Their board-certified physicians have treated thousands of patients using the latest technologies to restore healthy, great-looking legs. There's little or no downtime, and your procedure is covered by most insurance. Milligan Vein, improving the quality of your life. Visit milliganvein.com or call Dr. John Milligan today at 423-961-5682.
Have you seen what happens when a weed eater gets too close to vinyl siding? Ouch! Choose steel siding from Best Buy Metals, available in board and batten and lap siding options. Permanent siding from Best Buy Metals is custom manufactured to the half-inch for a perfect fit. Stop by a showroom or go to bestbuymetalroof.com to learn how you can protect your structure.
Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, espncleveland1013.com.
Mayfield Dairy Chocolate Milk is a great recovery drink for athletes or anyone who exercises. Rich in calcium and vitamin D, get Mayfield's famous chocolate milk at multiple locations near you. Find out more at mayfielddairy.com, and we're happy to have joining us here on The Drive, Jerry Palm, who Mr. Bracketologist. That's how I know Jerry. And Jerry, how are you doing, man?
I'm all right. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. All right, saw that your latest bracket was, I guess, released sometime this morning. But for those of those listening, what are your four number one seeds right now, Jerry?
Yeah, it's Arizona, Duke, Michigan, and then new to the top line today is UConn. It's pretty competitive at the top of the bracket, and of course, Arizona's been tremendous all season, undefeated still. Duke, UConn, Michigan, Nebraska coming out of nowhere, having a great season. Michigan State, a lot of Purdue was preseason number one, had a slump here last couple of weeks, but it's still pretty dangerous. It's been a really good year at the top of college basketball.
Let me ask you something, Jerry. Who are the last four teams in and your first four teams out of the bracket right now?
Yeah. The last four in are Cal, Miami, UCLA, and Santa Clara, and just missing out Seton Hall, Oklahoma State, San Diego State, and the Buckeyes.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this, and everyone around here, and we're all so used to it, and I'm going to let the other guys get a question in here in just a minute.
Sure.
When you do your bracketology, and I think I know the answer to this, but are the rankings in the AP of the coaches poll, do you ever consider those at all, or if it's completely void of those?
It's not criteria. The committee doesn't look at it, though I don't look at it. They have the net that they created. There are some other computer rankings that they also look at, like Ken Pomeroy's, for example, that they put on the team sheets, the data that they have on each team, and it's pretty comprehensive. But the polls, the coaches poll and the writers poll are not considered.
Hey, Andy here. Question I've got for you. I'm looking at the ACC right now, and I want to kind of hit on both the ACC and the SEC first. But obviously we know what Duke, Clemson, Virginia, what they're doing this season. Solid so far. If there's a team that when we get around the conference tournament time that could win their way into the tournament via the conference tournament out of the ACC, we'll start there. Who do you think it is?
I guess I'm going to say NC State. Now, I'm trying to pick a team that I've got seated kind of low now.
Yeah.
NC State I've got as a 9, but they're 7-2 in the league. They're now, of course, conference schedules are imbalanced in all these bigger conferences anymore. But they've done a pretty good job. They took Kansas to overtime in a loss. They won at Clemson. They've been really competitive even when they haven't won. So all you have to do is just get hot for 3 days. Turn those 5-point losses into a win. And NC State could be a team that may not need to win the conference tournament to get in, but it might surprise some people and do that.
So I'm going to ask the same thing out of the SEC. Who are you thinking on that?
Ooh, SEC. That's so wide open.
It is.
It's funny because, Vanderbilt's at the top. It's like, well, gosh, normally I'd pick Vanderbilt, but they're already in first place. So that they don't, or, well, they were in first place. They're in second, but, that doesn't really count. I guess I would say maybe Texas. My concern for Texas is depth.
Huh.
But that's a team that's, I don't have them in the bracket now. They haven't been consistent enough, but the talent is there. And when you get everybody on a neutral court and, you're not worried about someone's home crowd, and I think that Texas has got enough pieces to make a surprise run in the conference tournament, and that's a team that might actually have to do that.
All right, Jacob here. So I've got a two-part question about two of the teams that we kind of cover here between Tennessee and Georgia. Currently, you have Tennessee ranked at 6. Do you see a world where they continue to move up? And then on the same half, Georgia's kind of been struggling lately. I feel like they've dropped a couple that they probably should have won. Do you see them working themselves out of the bracket?
Yeah, they are. I guess I'll address Georgia first. They do seem to be trending kind of in the wrong direction. They've been good at home. Arkansas and Auburn at home. They won at Mizzou, which is a borderline team. Haven't really beat anyone else that you think is going to the tournament, and lost at home to Ole Miss, which, that's just a game that just hurts. That's not one that you can really afford to lose. If you end up on the bubble, which I wouldn't put them there yet, but, the schedule's not very favorable. I mean, 4 of their next 6 on the road, and I don't care who you're playing on the road. It's major conference basketball. That's a tough schedule. So, they need to kind of get things turned around. And then Tennessee, I actually saw Tennessee. We saw them at Alabama. We went to that game. That was fun. They look good. I think Tennessee has a chance to play for a top 25 type of seed and maybe even do a little better. They have maybe a little more favorable schedule than Georgia's, but, there's a lot of games left, and you're probably playing half of them away from home.
So you brought up Alabama, and so I'm just going to have to ask, do you have any opinions on what's going down there in Tuscaloosa with, everything that's going on with the eligibility of
Bediako? Bediako, yeah. We were at that Tennessee game was his first game back, and he looked like he didn't quite have his legs yet, but he's a very talented guy. The NCAA rule is that if you signed an NBA contract, you're not eligible. Now, I don't know that he did that. I know he played in the G League, but you can do that without signing an NBA deal. Unlike the former UCLA player that's trying to come back after playing for the Hornets. But yeah, I think that I don't understand. I mean, what kind of shape is he in? Has he hasn't really provided much yet. He's a great athlete, and he's played there before. He played at Alabama before. He can help them, but I don't know how much he can help them, and I don't know that he's done a lot to help them yet. But I just think that if you played in the NBA or you signed an NBA contract, which is the NCAA rule, and I think that's a good rule, then you shouldn't be eligible.
Talking to Jerry Palm with palmbrackets.com. You can go check out his latest bracketology, listing for right now. Let me ask you something, Jerry. Over the past couple of years, there's been rumors of the NCAA men's basketball tournament expanding beyond 68. From 85 to 2010, we had 64 teams. Since 2011 to this year, we got 68. What's your opinions about staying at 68 or expanding?
I am firmly unmovably in favor of going back to 64.
We know that's not going to happen, Jerry. It's not going to go down.
We know that's not going to happen. So no, 68 is already beyond what I consider a good limit. I don't think the first four adds much to the tournament. I don't think unless your team's in it, you're paying attention. The city of Dayton does okay. It's a great host city for that. But it's and then if you're going to make it even bigger, how you have to add a week to the tournament. It's already pretty long. Yep. And it bucks up against the Masters, so you're gonna, CBS covers it, and then they end the tournament and they go right to the Masters. So now, how are you going to get it in if you're going to extend your tournament past the Masters? You're going to take a week off the end of the season, or add a week to the beginning of the season. I don't know. It seems pretty unwieldy to me. I would not go beyond 68, but they will at some point. They definitely will.
Yeah, Jerry, I do feel like those first four games are just more for, I guess, symbolism more than anything, just to say, hey, we're kicking off the tournament, because we've not really, since they've implemented that, seen that really carry any relevance as the tournament continues.
Well, and the other thing about that is, for the casual fans who fill out a bracket and don't watch college basketball any other time except to follow their bracket, nobody's filling out a bracket with 68 teams. No one's going to fill out a bracket with 80 teams. They'll fill out 64.
You're
it fits
correct.
nicely on a sheet of paper. So whatever else they choose to add, only diehards and fans of those teams are going to care. But you're going to have teams that are 4 games below 500 in a major conference. If you go up to as much as even 72, you're going to have teams that are below 500 in a major conference. In conference play, you already have that, but you might even get a team that's, 500 or below if you had enough teams overall in the tournament. Just because you got to have warm bodies out there, and that's just I just can't abide by that.
All right, so I got kind of a fun question for you here. You were talking about filling out brackets. When you get to a game on your bracket, like once the bracket's set and now you're filling it out, and there's 2 teams that you just can't decide between, is there a specific stat or something that you look at and says, this is going to give them the edge, I'm going to pick them there? For all of our friends that are going to be filling out brackets here soon.
I try to see who's got the best, the most talented individual player or the best clutch player. And so some of that requires a little bit of research. Like you can go to NBA draft, prognostications to see, the talent part of it. The clutch part, you might have to follow the team a little bit. But, if I want to have I want to know which guy is the guy that can take over the game. And everybody's got a guy that they depend on, but I want to know who the best one is.
Yeah, Jerry, I know you're new to the show. I depend on Jacob Mason to show up and do his job here every day. So talking about depending on a guy. But also, on a little bit more of a serious note, we are going to be doing right here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3 a bracket challenge that we want all our listeners to be a part of. And while we got you on air, Jerry, I want you to be a part of it. So we're going to make sure we send you the link so you can kind of show us all the ropes and how it's done.
Sure. That pretty much guarantees I'll finish in the bottom 5 of whatever that. But yeah, no, I'll totally count me in. I can take the abuse.
Okay, Jerry. Here's a question I want to ask. Last year, the SEC had 14 teams make the field. Obviously,
Florida won the college football playoff. Come on.
Yeah, so they went 23-13. They had 2 teams in the Final Four, Auburn and Florida, and Florida ended up cutting down the nets. 1985, the Big East had 6 teams in the field. They went 18-5. They had 3 teams in the Final Four: St. John's, Georgetown, and Villanova. With Villanova cutting down the nets. In your opinion, which was the more impressive run? The SEC getting 14 schools in, or the Big East having 3 teams make the Final Four?
Well, I would say for the regular season, having a good enough season to get 14 teams in is pretty impressive. Also, getting 3 teams in the Final Four, that's the best tournament run probably any conference has ever had. So it's actually both.
Oh, no, you can't do that, Jerry. You can't do it.
That's a wise man's answer.
You have to pick one.
Jim, that's a wise man's answer right there is what that is.
I'm just separating the season.
Well, since Jim's putting that out there.
I'll go Big East.
Big East. Okay, and I think I agree with you because I think it's fair to say there's some politics going into some of these teams getting into the tournament, some of these teams not getting in. I know there's a lot of teams sitting at home at the end of the day that are frustrated. They feel like they've got better resumes year after year after year. Again, very similar to the college football playoff.
Hey, Jerry, let me ask you this.
I can justify every selection with a couple of exceptions over the years. Every selection, every at-large selection, I can justify it. Last year, North Carolina, absolutely not. That was
huge.
Egregiously poor. That team spent the entire season proving beyond the shadow of a doubt that they were not an NCAA tournament team because they lost to every single one they played.
Yep.
They lost 10 of those games, and they got in anyway. And so that's, and their AD is the chair of the committee. So I've always defended the committee against that kind of nonsense, but I don't know what to say about that, And I know the North Carolina AD, and I don't think he's out there pulling strings. Probably doesn't have to, but yeah, it's just, I just can't. That was just egregiously poor, and it really not only was it bad, not only was it a bad decision just on merit, it was a bad decision on how it looked.
Right. Jerry, this year I've had a difficult time trying to, I guess, differentiate the power leagues right now. The Big 12, the Big 10, the SEC, the ACC, they all look fairly good to me. Which, in your opinion, is the stronger league today? That doesn't mean it's going to be the best league once the NCAA tournament begins. But today, which league do you prefer?
And the Big East, by the way, a major conference in college basketball too, but they only have 9 teams. and a couple of these leagues, maybe 3 of them, will put that many teams in the tournament out of much bigger leagues. But and of course, UConn, a perennial championship contender, and they are again this year. I would say that the top of the league, the Big 12 and the Big 10 at the top are the best. And I'm doing brackets with at least 5 teams in the top 16 from both of those leagues. And that's much fun for bracketing because you've got to throw a lot of the rules out. But at the top, but the Big 10's got more depth in terms of tournament quality teams. I think I have 5 Big 12 teams in the top 16, another one at the 5 seed, and then only one other Big 12 team in the tournament. I've got like 9 or 10 Big 10 teams every time I do a bracket. So the Big 10 has had quality depth at the top and quality depth throughout.
Jerry, we appreciate it, man. And listen, we will definitely be in touch with you as we get a little bit closer to March Madness, man.
All right, thanks.
All right. Jerry Palm, we appreciate Jerry. He does a great job. Again, palmbrackets.com. That's where you can find his work, and he's also on CBS.com as well. But he does a great job. He's been doing this for many, many years. But honestly, last year the SEC was head and shoulders above every other league. They just were. They just eased through their non-conference competition last year. This year, it's been a lot more competitive. I don't see the big difference between the top 4, and I guess you can throw the Big East in there, but like you said, they've only got 9 teams, so they're not going to have the sheer number. But they've got you. Listen, when you got UConn in your league, that's going to elevate your league. But I think there's so much parity in college basketball right now.
Going off a track record, I'm looking at these Big Ten teams right now. Michigan sitting up there, Illinois at number 5, currently in the AP Top 25. You've got Nebraska at number 9,
That's
Michigan
a shocker
State.
to me.
Yeah, it is.
Unbelievable.
Listen, Nebraska basketball fans right now are all in. There's people getting tattoos, Nebraska basketball. I'm dead serious.
That's
it's a thing on
crazy,
social media. Check it out.
It's kind of like Indiana football fans.
Exactly. That's a very good comparison there, Jim. But Michigan State at number 10, Purdue at 12. So those are just looking at the top 15 teams in the country. I feel like each and every one of those teams has the capability to go on a run. I think the Big Ten, depth-wise, could have a good performance in the tournament, but I think when you're talking who has the chance to send more teams to the Final Four, I think you got to seriously consider the Big 12 too.
Well, I'll tell you something. The Big Ten hasn't won a national championship in a quarter of a century. It's been since 2000. When Michigan State won it. So the Big Ten's put a lot of teams in. and they've played for the championship multiple times, but they haven't won it.
Hey,
you got to win it at some point.
Money's involved now.
That's right.
Big Ten's got money.
It's big business is what it is.
Listen, Michigan State. I don't know if y'all saw that game on Friday night. Whew. Talk about a physical game. And, boy, both teams are pointing at each other today, talking about some cheap shots being taken. So no love lost between Michigan and Michigan State when they get on the floor.
Hey, they were letting them play just like they were letting Cleveland and Walker Valley play Friday night. You talk about a physical basketball game, that game.
And, that
a lot of fun.
That right there is a good point. When you get into the NCAA tournament, a lot of times how the officials let you play, if you're from a power league like the SEC or the Big Ten or the Big 12 or Big East, ACC, they like to pound and they like to be very, very physical. If you get some officials from a lesser league officiating that game, and they call tic-tacky calls, that can make a big difference in some of these basketball
Can completely
games.
change a game.
Yep.
Jacob, you got anything good for us? You look like you're in deep thought over there.
Nah, just looking over at the X, seeing what's happening in the NFL.
Well, real quick before we go to break here, a couple things we want to get out. So we had mentioned Adam Sparks of Knoxville News Sentinel had talked about Joey Aguilar filing that
You know
suit.
how I feel about this.
Well, listen to this. Tennessee has a roster spot available and apparently NIL money for Joey Aguilar if he is, in fact, eligible in 2026, and that's even after they were out chasing quarterbacks. They've had this set aside. So for that to be in place, you got to imagine, as Lloyd Christmas once said, you're telling me there's a chance.
So you're for this.
I'm for it.
And I'm against it.
I'm for it.
So I'm 100% against it. I don't like it. I do not like what's happening to
but if you
collegiate
do it,
athletics.
If you do it for Joey Aguilar, any situation that should be the
two wrongs don't make a right.
But listen,
That's
should
how
be
I look at it.
This should be the trendsetter, though, is what I'm getting at. So any other player in his position, when the NCAA looks at it, they need to say, well, this is the exact same scenario Joey Aguilar was in, and he was eligible, so we're going to deem it eligible. There needs to be some clarity on this, and this needs to be one of those cases that kind of sets the standard for what we're going to do moving forward.
There needs to be a judge who has the, I'm not going to say the word,
cojones,
to say, no, you're not eligible to play no more. You're done playing college football. Go find something to go to the CFL or find a job at the local grocery store.
Well, listen, these guys are trying to make a living, man. They're trying to make money.
I get it.
Just like Shaq. Everyone knows he made all his money in college.
It's so funny. All this stuff started when the NIL began. You didn't see guys wanting to play a 5th or 6th year college football. But now they're getting paid $1 million. They're going to do whatever they can to become eligible.
Well, I think Jim still has some eligibility. By the way,
Lord.
I mean, you're looking at what is it? Dante Moore out of Oregon.
Oregon, yeah.
That had a first-round grade and
coming back.
Decided to come back.
Now, granted, Peyton Manning had a first-round grade and he came back too. But that was his true senior year.
Peyton Manning also had a few mil in the bank account when he was making that decision.
He came from a very wealthy family.
Yeah, Peyton, and it puts Arch in the same position. Like, Arch is in the situation where if he wanted to come out tomorrow, the Raiders would still probably draft him over Mendoza.
I think he would. Yeah,
I think they think his future is really bright. But he has the ability to come back. That's not everybody does. And you can make more staying in college than you can as a rookie in the NFL,
ridiculous.
Which is wild.
Yep. Hey, it's 5:40. You're listening to The Drive on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. With that, we're going to take a quick break. But we've got a special guest when we come back. Josh Boskin, the head coach of Cleveland Wrestling. Girls wrestling, boys wrestling. This guy's got things under control, so much so that he's bringing home 2 trophies. They're already home, by the way. This past Saturday, they won the state duels up in Franklin. Coach Boskin is going to be on the show when we come back right here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
Good morning. This is your Hardees 2 for $5 breakfast mix and match alarm. We've got fluffy eggs and sausage on a made-from-scratch biscuit ready. Or perhaps biscuit and gravy. Ooh, maybe a sweet cinnamon roll. Wake up and smell that sweet deal. Mix and match any 2 for just $5 for a limited time. Only at Hardees. Don't snooze on the app. Snag juicy deals, order ahead, and get to work on time. Maybe. Exclusive app offers for registered My Rewards members only. Available for limited time at participating restaurants.
Did you twist an ankle? Hurt your shoulder? Or maybe that weekend project left you with more than sore muscles? Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is here to help. Our Urgent Ortho Walk-In Clinic in Cleveland is open Monday through Saturday, treating sprains, strains, fractures, and more. No appointment needed. There's no need to drive to Chattanooga for expert orthopedic care. Call, schedule online, or walk in today and get back to moving pain-free. Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. The Center for expert care right when you need it.
When the road gets tough, make sure your ride is ready at Cleveland Tire Center on North Lee Highway. They keep you rolling with the best brands, expert installation, and prices that fit every budget. Whether you need new tires, a quick rotation, or a full alignment, their certified team delivers fast, friendly service you can trust. Stop in today and feel the difference that quality makes. Cleveland Tire Center, locally owned, dependable, and always ready to get you back on the road. Cleveland Tire Center, 4695 North Lee Highway, Cleveland, where the name says it all. Not all composite decking is the same. Enjoy life's beautiful moments on an equally beautiful composite deck. Envision's products feature deep, non-repeating grains and distinct colors throughout each pour, offering a truly unique appearance unlike anything else on the market. Learn more and find inspiration for your project at Cleveland Plywood. Cleveland Plywood Company, 2700 20th Street Northeast in Cleveland.
Hey, this is Alfonso, the General Manager of Crown Cleveland, your local home for Jeep and Ram. I'm here to announce that we have revamped our express lane. We are fully staffed and ready to take care of all your quick lube and oil needs. Please Google Crown Cleveland and see our great service specials.
Do your legs feel heavy, tired, or achy? Do you have restless legs or leg cramps? Dr. John Milligan at Milligan Vein offers office treatment that can make you look and feel better within a day. And your procedure is covered by most insurance. Visit milliganvein.com.
Honda of Cleveland is giving away a brand new 2027 Honda Civic to a deserving coach this year. From Pee Wee League to the college level, all athletic coaches are eligible. Each month, we will choose a coach for that month, and at the end of the year, the 12 finalists will gather to be celebrated and see who wins that brand new 2027 Honda Civic from Honda of Cleveland. Nominate your favorite coach at mymix1041.com.
When it comes to protecting what matters most, it makes sense to choose an insurance agent that's a part of your community. Your local Allstate agent knows the ins and outs of both owning and protecting a home in your neighborhood. By choosing a local Allstate agent, you get an expert who knows the community and is committed to getting to know you, which means George Gray can help you get the protection you want that fits you and your life. Are you in good hands? Contact George Gray, Allstate Insurance today for a free quote.
Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
Hey, we got the Cleveland Insurance Valentine's Day giveaway, which includes a one-night stay at Embassy Suites on February 14th, a dinner at Ruth Chris on February 14th, obviously in the same building, a massage from Bliss Day Spa, a gift card from the Town Squire. All you got to do is text the Warren and Griffin text line 423-749-1013. That's 423-749-1013. That is the Warren and Griffin text line.
Once again, you're listening to The Drive on ESPN Cleveland 1013. Jim Gum, Jacob Mason, I'm Andy Morris. Excited for this next guest, a guy I've known for a long time that's doing one heck of a job with the Blue Raiders and the Lady Blue Raiders when we're talking about the Wrestlers over there at Cleveland High School. I said that for Jim Gum. But Coach Boskin, thank you so much for taking the time to join the show, and congratulations on adding 2 more pieces of hardware to the state title trophy case over there at Cleveland.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. I've been waiting all year to get this phone call.
Have you really?
Yes.
Well, listen, this is a good time to do it right here.
Right, you're right.
So, hey, if you could just kind of let our listeners know, I know we got a lot of wrestling savvy people that listen to the show, but for those of our listeners that don't, and I'm telling you to not be humble for a second, just kind of lay the land out here of what you guys have been able to do over the past few years.
Well, I mean, we've been able to build, and we've been able to sustain a culture that thrives on just on the sport of wrestling. I mean, if you were at the state tournament or you've seen the videos on Facebook or whatever, you've seen how much our people love the sport, how much our people love our kids. They show up, they're loud, and it's taken time. I mean, like you said, we've known each other for a long time. When we first moved here, we took our fair share of butt whoopings, and I talked to a lot of smart people, and most of those people are from Bradley Central, and I figured out what they did and why they were so successful. And, you know, they laid the blueprint. We just kind of copied it, and we were able to do what they did, and we're in the situation they were in for a long time. So we're just very fortunate that we have a lot of people that back us and support us, and a lot of people who love the sport that we love.
Josh, Jacob Mason here. We were snowed in on Saturday, but Andy can attest that I spent most of my afternoon on the computer trying to look up your guys' results so that we could post them and all those things. Yeah. And one of the questions that I had for him, I was like, so, like, what does Boskin do since he's the head coach of both of these programs? And he's like, dude, he runs back and forth the whole time, and he's just like an Energizer bunny. Just kind of talk about the dynamic of being the head coach of the girls and the boys on a stage like that, having to bounce back and forth between your two teams.
It's not as hard as everybody thinks, just because the support we have. Our coaching staff is, I mean, we probably have 3 or 4 guys that can coach anywhere they wanted to in the state. So we have people that we trust that, I mean, don't get me wrong, in the state finals, I was with the girls the majority of the time. My eyeballs went over to the guys not occasionally, but you don't have to worry about that when you have guys over there that are probably a lot smarter than I am. So we're fortunate to have a lot of great help. Our parents are amazing. I'd rather be in a situation that I am than not be in it. So it's a good situation to be in.
Yeah, you stated that you were with the girls most of the time. That girls match was much closer than the boys, 36-30. Just kind of talk on that match and what was the match that kind of set that one apart, that was able to that you guys were able to overcome and win that one.
I'll be honest with you, going into the dual meet, and Jenna Morris knows me better than anybody, and sometimes I need kicked in the butt because I start thinking negatively. But like, we had a lot of things going against us. Our 100-pounder, who's a returning state champ, got hurt. We knew she was going to be out. There were some weight situations at the state duels which caused us to have to forfeit another weight class. Just a lot of things were going against us. So I knew if we were going to be able to pull it off, to go back a second, we only had, out of the 12 weight classes, we only had 4 girls returning. So we graduated 8 girls. So we had 4 girls on our team that were at the state tournament the year before. So we had, the majority of our lineup was brand new. But we had a lot of talent. We had a lot of talent in the lineup, and they knew. We talked beforehand. We said, hey, listen, this is the way it is. If we're going to be able to pull this off, we gotta get bonus points. We have to put them on their back. We got to keep them on their back. And in the matches that we're not in, we got to fight. And the beauty of the sport is, man, when you are able to create camaraderie and these girls loved each other, man. And it was. I went back this morning. What's today? I went back Sunday morning and watched the dual meet again, just to see how it happened. And they just fought. They fought the whole time. They pressured, and there were 3 matches that we were only going to get a decision with 30 seconds left in the match, and found a way to pin them. So how it happened because they love each other, and they fought to the very end, and they believed in everything we told them.
Coach Boskin, once again, Josh Boskin, head coach, Cleveland Wrestling, on the phone line with us. Once again, the Warren and Griffin phone line, volunteer Ridipest phone line as well. Coach, if you could, let's go transition to the boys' side for just a second. Obviously, a dominant effort in that finals match against Dobbins-Bennett, and this is a Dobbins-Bennett team that a lot of people didn't know a lot about, but they knew they had some individuals that were tough, and there were some rumblings going into that finals match. Hey, they might be able to make it interesting, but as most of us expected, you guys showed up and took care of business.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't take them lightly. I promise you that. They were beating everybody all year. Especially the state duels, they were forfeiting out before they lost the match. So to think we were going to take them lightly is not very smart. So we obviously met once we knew that when we found out we were going to have them. And at the end of the day, like, our kids have been traveling all over the country all year. We started off, a small group went to Ohio for the Ironman. Then we went to Indiana. Then we went to Pennsylvania. Then we went to Wisconsin. So at the end of the day, like when the lights turned on, our guys were ready to go. And just like the girls, they love each other. They understand. They've been with each other forever. This group's been with each other since they've been 7 or 8 years old. So they understand how dual meets work. They understand, like, listen, I might not be the guy, but I got to fight to, shave bonus points. And we stayed in matches, and the matches that we weren't in, we made it exciting because we battled. And I talked to Coach Esslinger on my way back, and I told him, I said, this is probably like the best we've ever wrestled as a collective whole in the state finals, just because the energy was good, and they were ready to go.
Coach, you mentioned it with your first answer. You talked about the culture that's going on over there at Cleveland, and it starts with you. You've created a championship culture. There's no doubt about it. We've seen it, with Bradley Barrett basketball. We've seen it with Walker Valley softball. You guys very much the same, a culture that is unmatched, and you're the center point of that. And I want to give you congratulations because I'm aware of all the time and effort that you put in. You pretty much live at the Jones Center and give these kids an opportunity to come and get the work in and put the time in that it takes to be state champs. And, again, you guys were able to accomplish that feat this Saturday at the state duels, both boys and girls state champs. So congratulations on that, and thanks so much for taking the time to join us.
Thanks, Andy.
So, once again, Josh Boskin, state championship coach of the Cleveland boys and girls.
Again, you mean?
Again. Yeah, so in Jacob's article on the ESPN Cleveland 1013 Facebook page, did a great job on these articles. He had mentioned kind of what they've been able to accomplish. I believe the boys now have won 9 state titles and 5 dual titles in a row, correct?
Yeah, and they're seeking their 5th, is it traditional?
Traditional, yeah.
So...
the girls have won 3 of the last 4?
Yes, won 3 of the last 4, and then last year some unfortunate circumstances had to void that one. But really, they have been dominant just across the board. In general. And I want to give Andy some love. Like, I wrote all those wrestling articles, but not without my man's help over here to the left, because he helped me with a lot of terminology, a lot of things that I am learning. And he was saying, man, so people are saying, like, you know yourself some wrestling. I was like, well, Andy Morris knows a lot of wrestling, and Jacob is just getting to pick his brain. So I appreciate your help with that this week.
No doubt. I was excited that Jacob was willing to put the time into it, and I know just our reactions on social media. If you go to our Facebook page, ESPN Cleveland 1013, tons of shares and likes and comments. So the people appreciated your time and effort that you put into it. And also, you can listen to this interview again if you want people, all you Cleveland wrestling fans that want to let your family and friends hear Coach Boskin, all you got to do is download the ESPN Cleveland 1013 app. You can go to YouTube, go to the WCLE Facebook page and YouTube page, and catch this interview that we just had with Coach Boskin. Next time we get Coach Boskin to call in, though, we're going to have to tell him to take it off the speakerphone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But a great interview from Coach Boskin.
All right, Andy. Are you going to be able to watch the Atlanta Braves on TV this year?
And I'm glad you brought that up, Jim, because today the Atlanta Braves made an announcement that they are no longer going to be part of the The Bally Sports Network is
they filed bankruptcy.
Yeah,
correct?
that a lot of people were frustrated with having to pay for subscriptions, and but this is a statement from the Atlanta Braves earlier today, roughly about 2 hours ago. The Atlanta Braves are aware of the reports regarding Main Street Sports Group. While disappointed with this development, we've been actively preparing for this outcome and are well on our way towards launching a new era in Braves broadcasting, which that's the first paragraph of what they released. Reading that got me excited because they're pretty much insinuating there's going to be a Braves network. So throughout Braves country and beyond, we have one of the largest and most dedicated fan bases in sports, as well as one of the most expansive television territories, and we're excited about bringing Braves baseball to our fans in new ways. To our fans, we want to assure you that we will be ready for the 2026 season, and all Atlanta Braves games will be broadcast across the entirety of Braves country. We look forward to sharing our path forward in the coming weeks. So that statement from the Atlanta Braves, I'm very excited because what I imagine is going to happen is they're creating basically their own streaming service.
Kind of like the Red Sox and the Yankees have
yes,
done.
And it possibly could piggyback onto a Paramount or one of these other networks or Peacock or ESPN Plus. I don't know the logistics as far as that goes. I don't think anybody outside of the Braves organization does right now. But what I do know it's going to provide is when Braves games aren't on whatever platform there's going to be tons of Atlanta Braves content because they've got a team down there that does a tremendous job documenting former players, former seasons, Hall of Famers, all that good stuff, and a lot of people that are part of the Braves radio network. That, if you remember back in the TBS days, there was a lot of crossover there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for the possibilities that this presents, and I'm excited to be able to talk Braves baseball with Jacob Mason again, who's probably not watched a game in 3 years.
Get off of my back.
And listen, and every game's gonna be here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3 as
or
well.
on Mix 104.1.
Or Mix 104.1. So you're not gonna miss a Braves game. If you really want to know what's going on, you can either watch it on whatever network they're gonna have, or you can listen to it right here.
I've listened to a lot of Braves games. Does that count?
I'll be honest. Sports radio is one of my favorite things. That's part of the reason I got involved in calling ball games. Thanks to our former colleague, who we miss very much, Dwayne Williams. Calling sports on the radio is a special thing that I hold close to my heart. That is almost becoming a lost art because there's so many different ways to stream now. Mm-hmm. But, man, going back and listening to old games is one of my favorite things to do. Listen to some of the best to ever do it, going back to the 50s and 60s. Baseball, specifically on the radio, is something I'll always love.
Yeah, I grew up listening to baseball. I'm a big Cincinnati Reds fan. Used to listen to the Big Red Machine on WOW out of Cincinnati, 700, one of those Clear Channels AM stations that still to this day you can do that. So I listened to a ton of Reds games. Baseball games used to be broadcast either on a Saturday or Monday.
Those were the national games. That was it.
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you would like to know this. Coach Boskin, who we just talked to, head coach at Cleveland Wrestling, huge Cincinnati Reds, Cincinnati Bengals fan. He's originally from Cincinnati.
I knew there was something about that.
So we'll have to get you guys together and lock you in a room somewhere and avoid you guys. So with that, you've been listening to The Drive on ESPN Cleveland. We appreciate you guys tuning in today. We'll be back at it tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe we'll cause a little trouble. We'll see. Jim, you're not going to be in the building with us, so
it's going to be out of control.
So the handcuffs are off. Yeah. The handcuffs are off.
Yeah. Things are going to get wild tomorrow.
That's it. Hey, have a great day, everybody.
Don't miss the Paul Feinbaum Show, weekday afternoons from 2 until 5 on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Always topical, always entertaining. Paul Feinbaum on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, presented by Hardees. From the Kia of Cleveland Studios, this is ESPN Cleveland 101.3, WCLE HD2 Cleveland.